I want to do a short talk on ego. How do you do a short talk on ego? Mission impossible, I guess. Why is it so difficult? Because we all have ego. And maybe that's the first important point. We all have ego. What we should learn is how to manage it. If it's managed well, then we think of it as good. It's a healthy self-concept, and it's defined by a strong self. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what you want, and you want to aim for that. The other extreme is that it's bad. It's an unhealthy self-concept. It makes you in who you have been instead of who you really are or can be. And it's taking you back. It's keeping you in the past. You're stuck if you have a bad ego. Why are we stuck? Because we worry about what other people think. We worry about our reputation. We not only live in the past, but we live in the image of what we think others think of us from the past. Ego don't care about you. It cares about its own existence, and it will therefore protect what you have or what you know. And it's kind of, I have, therefore I am. In other words, you become through what you have. And that is why it cannot allow for you to be in the present and just accept things for what it is and don't judge it. Ego can't do those things. But what you don't know or don't see is that it actually at times makes you a little bit stupid. And why? Because you're out of tune with reality. And other people will pick it up and they will talk about it, they will talk behind your back, but you won't know it. Bottom line is, if the ego is bad, then we run. We run either towards superiority or we run towards inferiority. Now, if you run towards superiority, then you obviously want to be in control. And that's what drives you, that's what motivates. As a matter of fact, there's no rest there. You just keep on pushing for what you want. Not good in itself. The downside of that is if you start running towards inferiority. In other words, a feeling or a sense of helplessness, you're depressed or depressive. It's just not good. And that will result in unhealthy stress, negative stress. It will cause a lot of unhealthy chemicals to be released in the body, not good for you. It might result in burnout. It might lead towards an addiction of sorts. Bottom line is, you're not going to be healthy and you're going to feel it. So that's what we want to steer away from, is a bad ego, if you want, or an unhealthy self-concept. So how do we turn it around? Well, if I say it's simple to do, it's maybe not, but in a way it is. Just listen to this. You want to build your character first, not your reputation. You want to build something that is still going to become, and not protect what's in the past. You want to be resilient, and you will be able to see beyond a situation. In other words, you become more proactive. You know what it means to be in the moment, to be present, not to judge, to accept things for what it is. You can do that. There's a calmness, and with that calmness comes an intuitive wisdom. People want to listen to you. You let go of the need to always want to be right. In other words, you allow for process. You allow for the insights and the thoughts of others to also be valued and considered. And you stop finding yourself in things only. Very important. But I guess the bottom line is, you learn to envision the future. You can actually explore what is still to come. And you're not just protecting what was and what's behind you. So in this scenario, there's two states that you want to be in. The one is that of mindfulness. In simple terms, you want to be fully present. You want to be here now and use all your senses in the moment. The other is that of experiences, but those experiences are experiences of joy of life. It's enjoying things that actually work, and you're part of it. And if you get into that space, mindfulness and joyful experiences, there's way more room for new possibility there. There's a new focus, there's alternatives. And if you can operate in that space, you will actually restore your physical health, but you will also restore a lot of other things, including relationships. So how do we do that? And this is really the last point, the summary. How do you do this? How do you build this strong self? How do you work the healthy self-concept? There's many things, but there's 4 that I want to mention. The one, you want strong facilitation. In other words, you need facilitation not to get stuck in the presence of, people with ego. And you need them or yourself to facilitate that journey. The second thing is you want to trust your processes more, because it's process that will kind of, put a stop to the ego-driven input and say, oh, well, hold a second. Can we just go back to the process? What's the problem we try to solve? Can we get some more ideas out? In other words, you allow for others, you allow for alternatives, but you do it through your processes. So you're very much focused on process. Number 3, you want to challenge current belief systems, and that we can only do through dialogue. In other words, opportunities where we converse for meaning. It's a different kind of conversation. It's not the typical win-lose kind of conversation that we find, in the presence of bad ego. So the dialogue and the skill of good dialogue is key. And lastly, you want to be a learning individual, learning team, a learning business. So whatever you do, just take a moment, time out and say, guys, we've just done something here. What did we learn? What can we take out of here? How do we go forward? What does it mean to be a learning individual, learning business? So for me, in a subtle way, we have to do things in order to tamper ego and push it, back onto the back burner. You can't just confront it and think you will have a good outcome. Unfortunately, people with a bad ego and an unhealthy self-concept, they don't allow for that. They don't like that. But there is a way out, and that is strong facilitation, believe in your process, challenge current mental frames, converse for meaning more than anything else, and lastly, become a learning individual and so a learning organization. I wish you well. And let's smoke this few thoughts in our pipes on what it means to have a good ego, a strong self, in other words, a healthy self concept. Why? It's possible. We can do this. Thanks.